So tell me about the point at which you decided to transition away from family photography. What was that like?
Do you know what? It wasn't like I woke up one day and went, I'm going to shift and move from family photography to branding photography. It was definitely an evolution over time. And I've always done headshots since a couple of years into my business. I think I used to run a business mums networking group. And so I used to always do their headshots. They'd refer me on. And I remember at the time thinking, wow, I wish I could do this all the time. I love it. But back then, you'll remember as well, people just needed one headshot. There was no such thing as, coaches on Instagram posting photos of themselves every single day. People just needed I just need that one photo. So I ran headshot mornings, and it was always like, just a headshot, just chest up, no one, it was very rare anyone ever said, oh, could I have a full length shot? Could I have one of me, on my laptop? That just didn't happen.
Yeah.
So it was very much a sideline. So I think my business sort of transitioned with also the trend of photography. And it just so happened that it worked perfectly with the age of my children as well. So as I was sort of, once the boys were then at senior school and I wasn't networking with other mums and, in that, with lots of mums with young kids, that's when I picked up a lot more of the branding photography, which is when that increased in popularity. So it was around 2018, I think, that branding photography kind of took over my family photography. But I still did the two in tandem for a little while. So I've always done other things on the side of my photography, if that makes sense. So when I was doing family photography, I used to run photography workshops for parents. So I did that at least once a month, which I loved. So I always wanted to, because I came from that sort of marketing business background, I always wanted to do other things, and I love training and coaching. Then I sort of went into sort of a part where I was still doing some of the workshops, but I was training photographers as well. So I used to run a retreat for family photographers, and I had courses. So it sort of transitioned into that. I don't know if you found out about me through Shoot, Edit, Chat, Repeat. So I had a podcast for photographers.
I have listened to, I think, probably every episode of that, but I came to it really late. Like,
Oh,
I
did
listened
you?
to it. Yeah, I listened to it, I think, sort of from 2022. No, I just found it and binged the whole thing.
Did
but
you?
I am
Yeah.
a podcast addict, so that's what
me
I do.
too. I think us photographers, when we're editing, we need something to listen
Well,
to.
that's
don't
it.
we?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So how did the podcast come about then?
So that came about because I was training photographers, and Eddie, who I ran the podcast with, she was doing Lightroom training for photographers. So we'd been friends. We'd connected on Twitter. I'd sort of reached out to her on Twitter, which shows where that's what we were all on back then. That was about 2010, I think. And just said, do you want to go for a drink? Like a blind date. You're the only other photographer I know nearby. Should we go for a drink? And then we were friends since then. Yeah, and it just came about. We were like, let's start a podcast. We couldn't find any podcast run by females for photographers. So, yeah, we just saw a bit of a gap in the market and thought, well, let's do it ourselves if we can't find it. And I loved doing that. That was fantastic. And so, yeah, that was sort of the middle part. And then in 2020 was when I launched my visibility retreat. And just started thinking, actually, visibility and personal branding, like this is what I love teaching photographers on. I could teach all business owners on this. This doesn't need to be just photographers. And whenever I was training photographers, that was the part I was interested in, was the personal branding, the marketing, the branding side of things. So I decided to extend it, and then I trained as a positive psychologist or positive psychology practitioner it was 2 years, and I finished in 23. So like 21, 22, I was training in that. That was sort of my biggest shift. I think it was beginning of 2023 that I was like, right, I'm going to go for this. My branding, photography, visibility, training and strategy. And yeah, just go for that. But it was really hard, like leaving the other side, like changing my website when I'd been doing family photography for 15 years. It was really hard. I think I let the photography workshops go first, and that was really hard, because they were still selling out. And lots of people thought I was mad, but I'd moved on and photography had moved on. Like when I first started running them, I used to say to everyone, are you Nikon or Canon? And that would be it. And then it's like, oh my God, there's about 10 different models here that I've got to learn. And it got so much more complicated. And my boys were much older, so I wasn't photographing them kind of every day around the house. So yeah, my passions sort of moved on, really. So it's really hard, though, in your business to let things go, but you have to then make way and make space for the new stuff you want to do. I thought, I can't be doing that and create something around this visibility thing that I really want to do.